Greetings and salutations, everybody, and welcome to the Glitched Out Gaming Podcast, your gaming podcast done by fans for fans of everything nerdy. I am your host, Lord X, and I welcome you to the final episode of Glitched Out for the year of 2015. After today, well, the next time you see us, it'll be the new year, so there you go. Anyways, joining me on this show, once again, it's the one, the only, Israel Pacheco.
What is up, man? It's a lot to talk about today.
Oh boy,
this is going to be a massive show.
Yep, because we're going to take a look ahead, we're going to take a look back, and we're going to take another look back at the whole year. Yeah, we've got a massive show.
Back to the future.
Oh, but yes, today's episode, as the title I think of this episode will be, it is the first annual Glitchy Awards. That's right, we're going to go through stuff like our favorite game of the year, what we thought was the best shooter, best visuals, etc., etc. So stay tuned for that. But of course, we're going to start off this show like we start off every show with the glitch. Oh my god, I am horrible right now with the been playing section.
Baker's dozen. Wait, wrong show.
Izzy, before I stumble and pull another Sin Cara botch, why don't you tell us what you've been playing?
Okay, so I'm going to go pretty quick with this one since we got such a big show. A lot of Star Wars related stuff. I played a little bit more Star Wars Battlefront. It's still super fun. I played some Star Wars The Force Unleashed, which I haven't played since that game came out in 2008. Unfortunately, it doesn't hold up as well as I remember it. It's a little glitchy. The visuals don't really hold up as well as I thought they would, and it's repetitive. But not necessarily a bad game. It's just an average game. Whereas when I played it back then, I thought it was like a good game, and it's more average. And the last Star Wars related thing that I've been playing is Disney Infinity 3.0. Yes.
He's back in the basket, folks.
I'm back, guys. And I got the set for The Force Awakens, which brings Rey and Finn, and I got the additional characters Poe and Kylo Ren. So I played through like the first section of the game where you're on Jakku. I played it in co-op with my little brother. It's just more fun that way because the game's like, to be honest, the game's really mediocre. But if you play it with somebody else, it's fun. We need that sound effect from Mad Max. But if you play it in co-op, it's fun. And of course, it's got all the sound effects from the movies. It's got the soundtrack. So it is Star Wars, but it's pretty mediocre, to be honest. But I'm still playing it. I enjoy playing it, I guess, co-op. And the last and final game that I've been playing is a very old game. That is Turok Dinosaur Hunter. They just released a PC port of the N64 Classic, which this happens to be probably the first-person shooter that I own that I can remember. Because I remember before this, I had seen like Doom and Wolfenstein when I was a little kid. But I had never owned them. It was just like at, like friends' houses or relatives' houses or whatever. This was the first one that I owned back on the N64. A lot of people talk about GoldenEye. This is like my GoldenEye because I did play GoldenEye because a cousin had it. But this one was more up my alley, especially being obsessed with dinosaurs at that age. I think this is one of those games that the box art just sold it for me because it's Turok fighting a velociraptor, and I was like sold. So it's nuts. Like it's really nuts. Like there's pretty much no story there. It's just you just hop into this world with dinosaurs and futuristic weapons and a bunch of different portals. Like it's nuts. Like going back to it and like thinking about it, it's really a game that makes no sense. Is not cohesive at all, but it still holds up pretty well. I remember this game being like a pain for my mom because she would make me turn the blood into green because you had that option in the game. She's like, no, you can't play it with the red blood, and it was like a big deal back then because it was like my first rated M game, and I was like probably like 7 or 8, so I was pretty young. So she made me switch to the color of the blood. I got to tell her that I've been playing this because she's gonna laugh once I tell her. I'll be like, no, I didn't switch the color of the blood. I didn't do it. But yeah, that's it for me. I'll kick it over to you for what you've been playing. I guess this past like 2 weeks or so.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we recorded a show.
Indeed, yeah. We took a week off for Christmas. Going with the Star Wars trend like you did, I've been playing a little bit of Super Star Wars. I managed to get a free copy from Gio Corsi. He did a little thing on Twitter. He was like, I've got so many free copies, first people to respond, and I got one of that, and that was a nice trip down memory lane. That was a trip down frustration lane very quickly as well. Other than that, I've been playing some Onichambra Z2 Chaos on the PlayStation 4. Which is, it's basically kind of like your Dynasty Warriors type combat where you're just facing horde after horde of enemies, though your characters are basically dressed in bikinis. It's dead or alive if it met Dynasty Warriors. It's just shameless. It's fun. It's good though. It's a nice solid combat. I'm enjoying it. Over on the PC side of things, I played the Beginner's Guide, which, wow, that was an incredible 2-hour experience. That actually made my top 15 list, if you guys have checked that out yet. Other than that, on the PC, I also played a bit of Undertale. It's charming. I haven't gotten very far yet, but so far, so good. Mm-hmm. And I also played Ori and the Blind Forest, finally.
How far you get into that?
I got about 45 minutes until the game decided to crash on me.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah.
That's such a shame.
I don't know. It was chugging a bit too on my computer. Like, a little disappointing, but I was enjoying it. Very beautiful game, and the sound and everything is so nice. So
without any spoilers, did the intro get to you as much as it got to me?
A little bit, but I had known it was coming, so
okay.
It didn't affect me that much. It was like, oh, that is sad.
It was a surprise for me, complete surprise. I was. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. Let's see. Going back to the PlayStation 4, I've also been playing Final Fantasy VII.
Nice.
The remake. Sorry. No, I haven't gotten an early copy of the remake yet, folks.
He's got it. Get him.
So yeah, I've been playing through that, having a blast, though I've been going for the trophies, and I kind of fucked up the whole go on a date with Barrett thing, so I need to start over the game again at some point. And play about the first, I don't know, 8 hours to get a trophy.
Oh my god.
Maybe, but it's going to be easier with the speed up and God mode thing, so I'm not too worried.
That doesn't affect the trophies?
No.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, I got to do that again. But I've been loving the game again. I just did the Temple of the Ancients part, so yeah, it's getting up to so far. But I've also got a few of the final limit breaks already, too, which is incredible. Omnislash, that early in the game, fucking owns everything.
Nice.
And the last thing I've been playing is WWE 2K16, and man, they have improved it from last year so much. I've only did a little bit of the showcase mode. Mm-hmm. Mostly been doing career mode, and I love it. I love what they've done this year, where you can build up your character as either a heel or a babyface.
Oh, nice.
So I've been going through it as a heel, picking all the, like, I don't care about the fans. Like, I'm going to destroy everybody in the locker room. Doing, like, dirty pins and everything. When I played last night, the last thing I did was at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, I fought The Undertaker, because I was going into that month like, okay, I can pick a new rivalry in somebody. Oh, I can run in on The Undertaker. Okay, I'll do that. That's a way to make a statement. So, at the end of my match with Taker, Triple H, Seth Rollins, Kane, and Big Show actually came out, and I had the opportunity to join the Authority, so of course I did it.
Nice.
So yeah, that's it's been a blast. I'm loving the game. It's really good, and if I had probably picked this up in October, it probably would have showed up in my top 15 list, to be honest with you. And
pretty good.
Just as a little hint of things to come, stay tuned to my channel in the future. You may see some 2K16 stuff. So there you go.
Pretty cool.
Alright, so with that out of the way, it is time to take a look ahead. Because this is the last show of December, it is time for our favorite segment.
Oh my god.
It is time for the games of January. Alright, so our first look at the first batch of games coming out in the new year. We'll do this rather quickly because the Glitchy Awards will take up a lot of time. Okay, so let's run down through the games. On the 5th, we have Amplitude making its PlayStation 4 release. Hardware Rivals releasing on the PlayStation 4. And the PlayStation Vita finally gets volume. So there you go. Great selection right there. On the 12th, we have Assassin's Creed Chronicles India for Windows, PS4, and the Xbox One. Gemini Heroes Reborn for Windows and Xbox One. Gone Home finally comes home to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Tharsis releases for Windows and PS4. The Banner Saga finally gets its release on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
I want to try that.
And That Dragon Cancer releases for Windows, Mac, and Ouya!
Oh yeah!
Oh, if only the Macho Man was alive, they could have had great marketing. Alright, going to the 15th, we have Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen making its release on Windows. That's very cool. That game was quite good. On the 19th, we have Darkest Dungeon releasing on Windows, Mac, Linux, PS4, and PlayStation Vita. Gemini Heroes Reborn gets its PlayStation 4 release. Resident Evil 0 HD Remaster comes out on Windows, PS3, PS4, 360, and the Xbox One. And finally, That Deadly Tower of Monsters releases on Windows and PlayStation 4. On the 20th, Homeworld Deserts of Canark releases on Windows. On the 22nd, we have Mario & Luigi Paper Jam releasing on the 3DS. Finally a game for the 3DS. Jesus, it's been a while.
Finally a Nintendo game.
Yeah.
Nothing else you've mentioned has been Nintendo.
Death by Game Show for Windows, Mac, and Linux. On the 26th, we have Final Fantasy Explorers releasing for the 3DS. Lego Marvel's Avengers releases on Windows, 360, Xbox One, PS3, PlayStation 4, Vita, Wii U, and 3DS.
Oh yeah!
And I believe this is going to be the first Lego game that's actually open world on the PlayStation Vita, like the console game. So
oh, nice.
That's cool.
Finally.
Yeah. Speaking of finally, that PlayStation 4 launch game finally comes out, known as The Witness for Windows, iOS, and PlayStation 4.
Witness me. How to do it.
Yeah. That one's been in development for hell.
I know. The first time they showed it off wasn't at like the PlayStation 4 reveal event in like early 2013.
Yeah.
His last game was Braid too, and that was even
longer
ago. That was, I don't even remember, 2008, 9, something like that. Crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. On the 27th, we have Slain releasing for Windows. On the 29th, we have Bombshell releasing for Windows. Sebastian Rally Evo for Windows, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. And This War of Mine, The Little Ones, releases on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And also, sometime in January, Rise of the Tomb Raider finally releases on PC, so more people can play it.
I didn't know it was coming that quick to PC. Huh.
There's even rumors that the PlayStation 4 version could be coming sooner rather than later now.
Yeah, they must have did so bad.
Mhm.
Because it's dropped in price already. It's like $40.
Yeah. So, January, anything there you're looking forward to, Izzy?
Uh, I think Lego Marvel Avengers, but I think I'll wait on a price drop for that one.
Yeah, they tend to
Um,
drop rather quickly, too.
the Banner Saga, I never played it on PC, so probably play it on PS4. It probably won't be right away. All these games that I'm mentioning are probably not going to get right away. Amplitude I'm interested in because I like music rhythm games. Gone Home, I haven't played that yet, even if I bought the PC version recently. And then they were like, "Oh, we're doing a console version." I'm like, "Oh, come on, guys! I thought you said you never were gonna do one." Yeah, that's it for me. Nothing that I have to have day one immediately this month. I'm saving my money for April because April is gonna be nuts.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spend that much money in 2016, but we'll see how that goes. I say the same thing every year. Then by the end of the month, I'm like, I bought 10 games.
Yeah, same for me. There's nothing really that stands out for me in January. Paper Jam, maybe, because it does look like it's going back to that classic RPG style. And Final Fantasy Explorers, as well as, Lego Avengers. But I'm the same with you. I'm going to wait till that drops down to at least like $30 before I get it.
Yeah, it isn't like Jurassic World that I had to have it like immediately, especially with the movie being out. This one is like, I like Avengers, but I'm not a huge fan of Avengers. Like, I know you are, but I'm not that big of an Avengers fan.
Yeah, I'm loving the look of the game. Yeah, it's also cool that Greg Miller's into it, playing a villain, and they have a trophy called Beyond into it. So, yeah, but other than that, again, wait for a price drop. That's my opinion for that. Looking at the other ones, This War of Mine maybe, but a lot of these, it'll be like, oh, I'll wait for a sale on them.
If Tomb Raider comes out, are you going to get it on PC or PS4?
Remember who you're talking to here. It's going to be on PlayStation 4.
Just asking.
I gotta get them trophies, man.
Oh, that's true. Damn trophies. Jesus.
All right, so that's the games of January, folks. Now, moving onwards, we have our usual look back of this year. We've been doing a, after each quarter of the year, we've been looking back. So we're going to look back right now on the fourth quarter of 2015. That's October, November, December. We're not going to go into a lot here. Like normally we would pick out our favorite game, that kind of thing. But we're not going to do that. What we're going to do, though, is we're going to go down the top 10 highest rated games for the month. This comes from Metacritic. So starting at number 1, the top rated game was or should I go 1 to 10 or 10 to 1?
10 to 1, I think it would be best, right?
Yeah, true. Okay, starting at number 10, we have Rise of the Tomb Raider with an 86 rating on Xbox One. Came out November 10th. Very good rating for it. And I know a lot of people have praised that game so much, so...
They botched that launch so bad.
Yep.
They should have just waited till January to release it, or February, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's like...
January would have been smart.
It would have been January, exactly. January would have been perfect. But I don't know. I guess they wanted to have, that marketing campaign of Lara, like that one shirt that they have that says like Lara, Marcus, Forza, and John, something like that. But yeah, it's unfortunate because I haven't heard a lot of people talk about this game, to be honest. I've been meaning to play it. It's just there's so much stuff out. But yeah, let's keep the list going.
All right, so number 9 on the list, we have SteamWorld Heist, the sequel to SteamWorld Dig. Got a 86 rating as well, and it came out on the 3DS December 10th. Haven't heard much about that one in a while, but I know like the trailers and everything, it looked interesting. And SteamWorld Dig was a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so number 8, I broke our own rule here of not putting remasters or collections onto this because I figured what the hell, we're doing a quick one anyway. And that is the Uncharted collection, or Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection with an 86 rating on PlayStation 4, came out October 9th. I know you've played that and you've had nothing but good things to say about it.
Yeah, I still need to play Uncharted 3, but I did play Uncharted 1 and 2, and they did a really good job.
Mm-hmm. All right, so on the number 7 on the list, we have Dirt Rally, 86 on PC, came out December 7th. Zoom Zoom, it's a racing game. Number 6, we have I think it is the final expansion for the game, and that's StarCraft 2, Legacy of the Void, with an 88 rating on PC, November 10th. So there you go, StarCraft, fun times. Next up, we have the PlayStation 4 port of the Talos Principle, which got an 88 rating on October 13th. Number 4, we have Divinity Original Sin Enhanced Edition with an 88 rating on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, came out October 27th. And I've been playing that, actually. I forgot to mention that. It's interesting. I haven't gotten very far yet, but it kind of mixes Diablo roaming around with kind of XCOM-ish gameplay when you go into battles.
Huh, I was not expecting that. I was expecting like a action game.
Nope. That's what I thought too, but nope.
I must be confusing it with another PC game. Is this someone that came out on PC and they were like, oh, it's $60 and you don't have to pay a monthly fee? Or I'm thinking of another game.
I think you're thinking of Guild Wars.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one that's action RPG.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was confusing them too. Anyway, moving along.
Yes. Number 3, we have Fallout 4. They got an 88 on Xbox One, the highest rating. PlayStation 4, it got an 87, and PC, it got an 84. November 10th. Fallout is great. Go play it.
Boo.
Number 2, we have Tales from the Borderlands, Episode 5, with a 90 rating on PlayStation 4, 86 on PC, and there was no rating for Xbox One. And it came in October 20th. Damn fine episode. Really great. Tied everything together. That Telltale series was amazing. Anybody should play that. Or everybody should play that, I should say. It's up there as Telltale's like best work next to The Walking Dead.
Wow.
And finally, at number 1, we have The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth with a 90 rating on PC. Came out October 30th.
Mm.
I know a lot of people have been praising that. All right, so that's our look back at the fourth quarter of 2015. So now it is time dun, 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 for the first annual Glitchy Awards. Woo! All right, so folks, we've got a whole bunch of categories here that we came up with, and we're going to start this off with Best Soundtrack. What game out there this year that really, brought such great music to it, that built atmosphere, that was so good with the soundtrack? And you see, we're gonna do this by saying our runner-ups first.
Okay.
So, Izzy, what was your runner-up for this?
My runner-up for this is Ori and the Blind Forest. I haven't played too much of it, but what I have played of it, the soundtrack has been really fantastic, especially the theme for the game is like really emotional. It's very, very well done, like all the music that I've heard in the game so far.
Mm-hmm. Cool. My runner-up is a game that I haven't played, but I have listened to the soundtrack so bloody much. And that's Crypt of the Necrodancer. It's just got this like high beat to it that kind of reminds me a little bit of Hotline Miami in a way, but a little more joyful. Kind of, yes. So yeah, that's my runner-up.
Is that a Vita game?
It's coming to Vita and PlayStation 4 sometime in the new year.
It's a PC game then. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting my games confused today because I was looking at the Vita games at Best Buy, I think that was Corpse Party.
Yeah, yeah.
Damn it, Izzy, stop confusing your games.
All right, so what was your pick for best soundtrack of 2015?
Best soundtrack for me was Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. And the reason is because it had a bunch of licensed 80s music that you could play on your device, the iDroid, if I'm not mistaken. And it just really added to the atmosphere of the world. Like, you could be on D-Horse, going through the mountains and the different valleys, and then you could turn on, like, Billy Idol. It's just awesome. And then how they implemented that with the helicopter picking you up, and then you could pick different songs that you have in the game and that you find the tapes in different areas, and then you could use those tapes, like I was saying, to listen to while you're going through the world, or when your helicopter comes and picks you up or drops you off, which is super awesome. I thought it was really cool how they implemented that into the game. So yeah, that's my best soundtrack of 2015.
Very nice. Very, very nice. My pick is going to a game that we really crapped on quite a bit, but I absolutely love the soundtrack, and it's basically what made me play through the entire game. And of course, I'm referring to Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. The music in that game is just so haunting, but at the same time, it's really, really beautiful, too. So despite how, slow the game was gameplay-wise, and the lack of, or how confusing the story was, I still think the music in that game was just so beautiful, and it's basically the only reason you should have to play Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. It really is. It will. The music alone will stir a lot of feelings in you.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It does have a good soundtrack.
Yep. All right, so moving on to our next award, and that is Best Visuals of 2015. Which game out there looked the prettiest to us, or had that most unique art style that really drew attention to it? And I'll kick this one off with my runner-up, which is The Order 1886. Again, another game that was shit on quite a bit. I liked it myself.
Yeah, we both liked it.
Yeah, it was a nice, short, fun gameplay experience, in my opinion. Good story, too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the visuals in that game were incredible. This was, I think, the first game sitting down and playing it going, wow, this is the power of the new consoles. This is how incredible games are going to look moving forward.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my runner-up pick.
All right, so I'm going to get all hipster on everybody because the games that I picked aren't the games that you would think best visuals, because everybody's going to be like, The Witcher, Batman, The Order. No, my runner-up is Transformers Devastation, which is a big surprise. Actually, I love how this game looks. I really like how they went for a cel-shaded art style, and this is coming from somebody who's not a big Transformers fan. I didn't grow up with the franchise. This game is based on the G1 generation of Transformers, which is the original generation. But as I was playing this game, I just kept stopping. I'm like, this looks gorgeous, and it isn't anything in terms of realistic graphics, but it just really grabbed me in the way the game looks. It looks fantastic, and it just kept me playing through it just to see the different locations and different enemy types and stuff. I thought it was really well done. Definitely one of the most overlooked games of the year.
Nice. Very nice. All right, so my pick for best visuals for 2015 goes to another PlayStation exclusive, Until Dawn. I was really blown away by this game. Like The Order, it's up there as one of the most stunning games I've played. It looked really good. The face of Peter Stormare alone, holy shit.
Yeah,
that was
so
creepy realistic.
He's so creepy.
So yeah, everything in that game, from like the snow leaving footprints into it to just the atmosphere all around, it was great. It was perfectly suitable to the horror genre that they were replicating in the game. So yeah, the Until Dawn definitely wins it for me.
Okay, my best visuals. My pick is not going to be a hipster pick. It's going to be a super mainstream pick, and that is Star Wars Battlefront. This game looks incredible. It is the best looking game, I think, on PS4. Even to me personally, even better than Until Dawn and The Order, just in terms of like the detail of everything, like the world, the weapons, the character models, the vehicles. It looks tremendous, and I think it really shows us like a progression in the engine that DICE uses. What's it called again? Frostbite, right?
Yep.
Because I remember like playing the Battlefield games. Like I played Battlefield 4, and I was like, this looks good, but it isn't anything mind-blowing. But Star Wars is mind-blowing, because when you first saw that trailer, you were like, there's no way in hell this game will ever look as good as this footage, and it actually does look as good as the footage. So shouts out to DICE for creating an incredibly looking game.
Very good, very good. All right, so I guess we can move on to our next category now. Just a little special inclusion. Bloodborne looked amazing as well.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I haven't even played it, but I really like the art style.
All right, so moving on to the next category. My bread and butter, best RPG. The best role-playing game that came out this year, be either Japanese role-playing games or Western RPGs, whatever the case may be. So, Izzy, why don't you give us your runner-up?
To be honest, I don't have one, because I pretty much just have one game, one massive RPG that I stuck to.
Fair enough.
I didn't really stick to it, to be honest, but RPGs are more your thing, especially Japanese RPGs, but...
yeah. Well, you did play Fallout 4.
But I'm not going to put that as a runner. I did play Fallout 4, but it's not going to be a runner-up, because I have some issues with that game, but... yeah, I'll kick it over to you, to your runner-up.
All right, my runner-up is going to be a game that I haven't gotten a chance to play much of yet, and that's going to be Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Oh, nice.
I love the look of the game. The combat so far has been all right. A friend of mine has said that he's basically given up on the game right now because there's so much that they don't tell you that would really help play through the game. So it's really a hardcore JRPG in all the sense of the word. So yeah, that's definitely my runner-up. Hopefully I'll be playing more of that very soon. So, okay, tell the folks what's your pick for best RPG of the year, which I can only...
Fallout 4! No. Okay, it's pretty obvious.
It's Tales of Hysteria, right?
Yeah. Of course. I'm an expert at the Tales series now. Full of Greg Miller. Yeah, it's The Witcher 3. Yeah. From what I played, the game was pretty fantastic. I did have some issues with it in terms of the combat. I thought it could have been a little bit smoother, and I always felt like I was on the cusp of, like, really learning the mechanics, and then I was just beaten down, like, no, you don't know it yet. Like, you're going to get destroyed by all these enemies. But what I did play of it, especially the Bloody Baron quest line, which isn't even a main quest line, which is nuts to me, was fantastic. The visuals, the voice acting, the narrative. I know you had a lot of issues with this game, but I personally really enjoyed it. What I played of it, like I said, this game is massive. I didn't get nowhere near as deep into this game as I would have, and I blame Batman for that. But yeah, shouts out to The Witcher 3 by CD Projekt Red. And another thing that I want to shout out before I kick it over to you is how they did their packaging, which is probably something not a lot of people bring up. But you have a slipcover, and then you have the actual PS4 disc packaging. Then inside you have a map, you have some stickers, you have a soundtrack, you have a little small note from CD Projekt Red, basically saying thank you for supporting us. And I just thought it was really well done. They've really been proactive in terms of releasing DLC for this game since it's been released, and constantly putting out patches and updating the game to run as well as possible. So they've done a really fantastic job this year. So I definitely have to give them props for that.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. That thank you note was really nice to see when opening up the game. Alright, so my pick for best RPG this year, I made a rule to myself when I was trying to decide this. I wasn't going Western because I want to show some love for some JRPGs.
Don't get wrong, but no.
That's not even an RPG.
Yeah, I know. This year's version is well, it's more visual novel. Yeah, it's a visual novel, but
yeah, and this year was like a third-person shooter. To be quite honest, there wasn't many this year to choose from. Really, of the ones I played anyway. So my pick goes to a strategy JRPG, and that is Disgaea 5. And I'm picking this one for a similar way of what you were just talking about with The Witcher and how the devs really love their fans. Disgaea 5, NIS and the team at Disgaea, they could have, modernized stuff. They could have added in other stuff to make it appeal to a wider audience, but they didn't do that. What they did is they made a game for the fans of Disgaea. It is everything that a fan would want. There's no, massive changes to the game. You can have more enemies on screen now. That's a thing. Crazier combos. They just improved on what worked for the fans before, and yeah, for that, I had to give it to Disgaea 5. The other games that came out this year, trying to think, Omega Quintet was a fun little romp for a little while, and so was, I never got to play much of it yet, Tales of Zestiria. So, yeah, my winner has to go to Disgaea 5 just because of the developers' love for the series and not willing to change it to make it a mass appeal. They did it for the fans.
Nice.
Alright, so this can move us into a wider topic, and that is
super wide.
Yeah, and that is the best action adventure game of 2015. And I guess I'll kick this one off. My runner-up for this was Batman Arkham Knight.
You cheated. You looked at my list.
You got this one as a runner-up too?
Yep.
Alright, something we finally agreed on. The game was great. It was really good at the time when we played it. I think both of us at the time when it came out were like, yeah, this is going to be game of the year. It's fucking awesome. Nothing else is going to be able to beat it. Well, things changed, but it was an awesome game. Just improved on everything Arkham did before. Too bad the Batmobile was fucking horrible and just they pushed that on you so much. That was the only downside. If not for that, Jesus, this would have been higher up in my game of the year list, and it would have won best action adventure for me.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Like you said, the Batmobile didn't bother me as much. Did you end up going for the alternate ending? I think you did, right?
What, getting all the Riddler trophies in it?
Yeah,
fuck that shit.
Oh, you didn't go for the true
No.
ending? Oh, okay. Because I know I probably would have been frustrated with the Batmobile because I heard a lot of the side missions that you have to do to get the alternate ending is a pain with the Batmobile. But it didn't bother me as much. I could have definitely done less of the Batmobile, to be honest, and the story was predictable, especially even if you're not a huge Batman fan. I think you see it telegraphed a mile away. But yeah, it was a fantastic game. The voice acting, the story overall was actually really good, especially with that one guy who I don't. If you haven't played it yet, But you know what I'm talking about, specifically the surprise in the game. But yeah, all the villains were done very well. The combat was super smooth and refined. The game was actually really gorgeous. I was debating putting it as like the best visuals because it looked incredible. But unfortunately, it ran like crap on PC, so I didn't want to give it a nod because the PC version was terrible, and that's another reason I didn't put it as my action adventure game, just because I know a lot of people had issues with the PC version.
Mm-hmm. All right, so my winner for best action adventure goes to Bloodborne. This game was just all kinds of fucking awesome. Better than the Soul series in my opinion, not just because it was the first game I've managed to beat in the series.
Shots fired.
But yeah, everything in this game was great. The combat was like faster, but it flowed better in my opinion. It just made for a better game all around. So yeah, Bloodborne up there for me is best action adventure.
All right, mine is a pretty obvious, another obvious pick, and that is Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. I still haven't beaten it, but what I did play of it was fantastic. Like if you could take like two games of the year and just like meld them together, like if you could take The Witcher in terms of like the storytelling and the world, and you could take the mechanics from Metal Gear Solid 5, you'd have like a perfect game. Like, to be honest, like this game was definitely lacking in the story department, though I did like what they did with the tapes that you collect and the briefings that you could listen to while you're going around the world to learn more about the characters in the world and what has happened in the time where Big Boss goes into a coma. But yeah, in terms of the mechanics, it was just hitting on all cylinders, the best gameplay of any Metal Gear ever. Because even as a fan of the Metal Gear series, I have to be honest with myself. Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3 and 4, they were kind of a little clunky, to be honest. This was super streamlined, though. It built on the foundation that they laid with Ground Zeroes, which I loved Ground Zeroes. There's so many options, so many things to do. There's so much depth to the system. Like whenever I listen to Brent from OGS talk about him playing the game, like the whole thing about the water bottle where you could like, what was it, like, I don't remember exactly, but he was talking about something with the water bottle, like he threw a water bottle because he was trying to finish the mission without using any weapons or something like that. It was just crazy, all these stories that he's been telling, but and I haven't even experienced that because you have so many variety of options in your loadouts and how you go into a mission. Sure, it is repetitive. There's a lot of missions that are just like extractions and like taking soldiers out of prisons or situations like that. And it isn't the linear game that we've been accustomed to in the Metal Gear Solid series in terms of its storytelling and the giant boss battles. There still is some boss battles, but it's done very different. It isn't a perfect game, but the gameplay is so well done and so addicting that it wins my best action adventure game of the year.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, moving on to our next award. It is the Best Shooter of 2015. And Izzy, I'm going to kick it over to you to say your runner-up first.
Runner-up, Star Wars Battlefront.
Only runner-up? Ooh.
Only runner-up. Star Wars Battlefront, you already talked about how great it looks visually. It's very accessible. It isn't a game that if you put down and you come back to, you feel like you're lost or you're getting destroyed at, like say with like a Call of Duty game or a traditional Battlefield game. It's a lot more accessible, a lot more simplified, a lot more streamlined. The only issue I really had and why it's not my best shooter of the year is the single player is really bare bones. It's just a bunch of couch co-op like missions that you could do, which are good, but I much have rather had like a whole single player story built on that engine. It would have looked incredible. But they decided to just create a very solid online shooter that looks incredible. As a Star Wars fan, it's fantastic in terms of the sound effects and the soundtrack and the way the characters move and look. It's so well done. It's fantastic on that level, but it didn't meet those like high expectations that I would have had for it. So that's why it's just my runner-up.
Cool. I don't think I really played many shooters this year at all, to be quite honest.
This is like my category. Like, you're the RPG guy, I'm more the shooter guy.
Yeah, I was looking back, like, what shooters did I play? Oh, Wolfenstein, wait, that came out last year, so I technically can't count it.
Did you play the Old Blood?
I have not yet.
You didn't play the Old Blood. Yeah, because
I have
this
it.
Year. Okay.
I have it, I just haven't played it, so...
that was
So I was looking through my list, and the only thing I could think of for a runner-up was Tower of Guns, the little indie title that came out. Just a roguelike where you go through, you have like, get through as many levels as possible before you die, and when you die, you start all over again, that sort of deal.
Okay.
It was okay, arcadey. I think it was free on PlayStation Plus 1 month, so...
Yeah, it still counts if it's like, you know, it could be like a bullet hell shooter, it could be like a side-scrolling shooter. It is just shooters in general.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, so what's your winner?
I was so wrong about this game. My best shooter of 2015 is not Halo, it's not Battlefront, it's not Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
It's Splatoon. Yes, a shooter by Nintendo was the best shooter of 2015, and I'll argue that with anybody. This game was so well done and so original, so refreshing. It had a short but very well done single player. The level design was incredible. It just used the mechanics so well that I wish they would have implemented some of those levels that they did in the single player into the multiplayer. And then the multiplayer was just super fun. And it's not violent like these other games. It's not about shooting bullets. It's just about painting an arena and switching between a squid to a kid, a squid to a kid, and back and forth. You're a kid, you're a squid. You know, that whole thing. But it was so well done. The soundtrack is so upbeat and cartoony. The characters look great. It's just something we've never seen before. Like, there's never been a game like this. And it just shows you what the creative minds at Nintendo could do, and specifically the younger generation of Nintendo developers. Because this game was done by a relatively young team over at Nintendo, and they let them have not complete free reins, because of course they had people overseeing the project, but it's like a refreshing take on third-person shooters, and it was super well done. I'm happy I was wrong about this game. I'm happy it has been very successful for Nintendo. It has sold, you know, I'm pretty sure it's past, I know it's past 1 million copies. It's probably somewhere between 2 and 3 million at this point, but it's done very well for Nintendo. A lot of kids have been talking about this game. It definitely deserves all the praise that it gets.
Very nice. Yeah, I still love the fact that it won Best Shooter at the Game Awards.
You still haven't played it, right?
I only played the beta. Like, I got into one of the beta matches.
Okay.
So, yeah, for me, it was hard to pick a runner-up, even harder to pick a winner. So I'm kind of cheating a little bit, because even though... Cheat. So even though this is more of an RPG, open world type game, there is shooting into it, and that's Fallout 4 is my shooter of the year.
Hey, I'll let that one slip.
All right, good, because it's also a chance for me to talk about Fallout 4.
But it is a shooter. It is a, well, depending, you can switch
Depending
between
on your play
first
style,
person and third person.
Or you can go melee if you want to, which I kind of did for most part. But yeah, Fallout 4. I'm going to give that shooter of the year just because I did not play any other shooters.
Poor Lorbex.
Just wait. Doom is next year. Doom will save me.
Yeah,
give me
Doom.
A winner.
What else is Doom? Is the only probably big shooter that I could think of right now off the top of my head. Well,
Yeah.
Quantum Break is a shooter, but that's third person.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so talk about Fallout 4.
It's good. All right,
Okay.
so
All right.
trying to keep the pace here a little bit. And I talked about it enough in my Game of the Year video. All right, so our next category is Best Handheld Game. No mobile crap. Get the fuck out of here. We're talking PS Vita and 3DS here, folks. So, Best Handheld Game.
Dun, dun, dun.
Did I go? I went first last time, right? So, yeah.
Wait, did
You're I think I...
So I talked about...
No, wait, yes, you did.
Yeah, I talked about Battlefront.
So, yeah, it is me first. Never mind. Jesus. All right. So, my runner-up for Best Handheld Game is... I never really played that many, but... Because I never played anything on the 3DS that came out this year.
Me neither. Well, it was Majora's Mask, but I barely played that, and I don't have a 3DS anymore.
Yeah. And other than, like, remakes or stuff that was ported over to the Vita... So my pick actually came down to Hyperdimension Action Neptunia U for the PlayStation Vita. This is a arena combat type game where you're running around with two or one, depending on how you want to do it, and fighting like horde after horde of enemies. It's Dynasty Warriors, but with Hyperdimension Neptunia. So, boom. There you go. That's my first pick. It was satisfying, and I'm probably going to go back and try and get the platinum on that eventually.
Okay. I'm looking through my trophy list right now because I didn't even think of a runner-up. I haven't played much handheld stuff this year, to be honest. I didn't even finish this game. But I'll give it a runner-up, and that is Hotline Miami 2, wrong number. In my opinion, it's not as good as the original because it didn't hook me as much. They kind of went a little too ambitious. Like they introduced some new mechanics, some new movements for the characters, and the way the levels are designed. And it kind of threw me off, to be honest. But the soundtrack is fantastic. The gameplay is super well done. But like I said, it just didn't deliver as much as I thought it would have, to be honest. Like, I adored the first Hotline Miami, and I was hooked. But this one, for whatever reason, just felt a little short. But it's still a good game.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So my winner for Best Handheld Game is Danganronpa, another episode. Ultra Despair Girls. Come on, this was obvious, folks.
Obvious.
The game's fucking awesome. Even though they turned it into a third-person shooter, it still worked. The story is still fantastic. Sound is great. The grim, dark, gloomy. It's beautifully horrifying. That's how to explain Danganronpa. And it made me cry. Not because of a sad moment, but because of an extremely happy moment. Which was... Yeah, it was so satisfying. It really good.
All right. So... thinking about this long and hard, and I had to talk about this game this year, even if it came out last year. Okay. But I played it on handheld this year, so I'm gonna count it.
Yep.
That is Shovel Knight.
Oh yeah!
I played it on Vita this year, a majority of the game, but then I switched over to PS4 and kept switching back and forth with the cross-play and cross-save that you could do. To be honest, if this game came out this year, it might be my game of the year. Like, that's how much I liked it. That's why I got to talk about it. This game is so fantastic, and I don't know why I didn't go through it when I got it on Wii U last year, because I played a little bit of it, then just put it down. I guess I was waiting on the PlayStation version. And man, it came out on Vita, PS4. It also come out on PS3.
Yep. Yep. 3-way cross-buy.
So yeah, this it's so good. Everything. This might be the most perfect game of the year. Like, and I'm not even exaggerating. The soundtrack is incredible. I didn't put it in my best soundtrack because it didn't come out this year. So, but it would have been in like every damn category. Like best shooter. No, technically, you shoot with Shovel Knight, but no. But the soundtrack's so good. The gameplay's so good. The boss is so good. It's so cheesy, but the story is so 80s, early 90s video games. Just everything about it is so well done. Like, it's so fantastic. I definitely had to give it a shout out, and I did play it on the Vita for the most part. But man, everybody needs to buy Shovel Knight. Anybody who grew up in the 80s or 90s needs to play Shovel Knight, because this game is nuts. Like, it's so good. So good.
Good stuff. All right, so moving on to our next category is the best trailer for a game. What was the best trailer that came out in 2015 that really struck us great and made us go, holy shit, I'm excited for this game, I am looking forward to this? Or quite simply was like, man, that was a very greatly done trailer. Like, I don't care about StarCraft, but Legacy of the Void trailer, that was cool, I enjoyed it. Stuff like that. So, Izzy, I'm going to kick it over to you first. What was your runner-up for best trailer of 2015?
This is going to be shocking, because most people would think this would be my best trailer of the year. And that is the announcement of Shenmue 3.
Oh, yeah.
It's surprise. It's just my runner-up. And people are going to be surprised of what I pick, best trailer. But Shenmue 3, a long time coming. When I saw this at this year's E3, I lost my mind. Everybody started laughing at me because I knew immediately when I saw the petal, right? What do you call those trees in Japan? You know what I'm talking about, like the pinkish rose. I can't think of the name. I'm too excited. I can't think of the name right now. But when you saw that petal,
blossom?
Cherry blossom, there it is. Where you saw the cherry blossom petal, I knew immediately. And then like that one note hit of the Shenmue music, I yelled out, oh my God, and like I scared the people next to me. I scared my brother. I scared the PlayStation rep that I know who goes to my store, and his daughter who was sitting right next to me. I felt bad afterwards, and then everybody started laughing, and then it hit like, oh, this is Shenmue. Like, I knew right away. Like, it was an incredible experience, and I knew right away what it was. And the game's finally happening. It was very successful on Kickstarter, the highest funded game as of right now on Kickstarter. It's coming to PS4 and PC. The game might not deliver, to be honest, but at least we're getting the game. And just having that one moment this year where I lost my mind at the E3 of dreams, as a lot of people say.
Yeah.
And then watching like Mike Huber from Game Trailers losing his mind over it, and just bawling out in tears. Like, I couldn't even cry. I was so shocked. Like, I was like, what? And then, like, I don't know. It's just Shenmue. The original Shenmue is a very special game for me. And Shenmue 3 is finally happening. I don't know when it's going to be released, and we'll see what happens with the game. But, yeah, this is my runner-up.
Very nice, very nice. My runner-up also comes from that E3 event. And it was the very first trailer we saw at that event. The Last Guardian re-revealed for the very first time. I was kind of like you with the Shenmue trailer. Like, when Sean Layton was building it up, and it's like, no, they're not doing this. It's not real. And as soon as I saw, like, the feather floating down, like, I lost my mind at that point. I started to tear up. I was so happy. And just seeing the gameplay footage again, it blew my mind. It's like, holy shit, it's real. It's real.
It's all real. Han Solo voice.
Pretty much.
It's all true. That's what he says.
Yeah. I was essentially transported back to 2006, sitting in my apartment, watching E3 of that year, like the year I was in university that summer,
Mm-hmm.
just watching it going, like, oh my god, this looks so great. I love Shadow of the Colossus. I cannot wait for this. And those feelings just came right back to me again. So, yeah, for that, The Last Guardian re-reveal, that's up there as like my number 2 trailer for this year. All right, so what's your trailer of the year?
People are going to be surprised, especially since I'm not an RPG guy or a JRPG guy.
Oh, I think I know what's
But
coming.
that damn Final Fantasy VII trailer was incredible.
Which
Like,
one? E3
The
or
E3 one. I'm just going to give it to the E3 reveal. Because that moment, like, it wasn't a moment necessarily for me, but seeing, like, your reaction, Big Boss's reaction, everybody in the theater's reaction, like, this is such a special game for so many people. And the way, like, I didn't give it to Shenmue because the footage that they showed of Shenmue was really bare bones, right? It didn't look very impressive. Ryo and Shenhua, they look kind of strange, their character models. So it wasn't necessarily, it was a great experience, but it wasn't a well-done trailer. This trailer, the way it was set up, like when they show those brief clips and then you see like the birds and then you see like the factories in the background and all this stuff and they start going through the town and they start playing the little music and everybody's just like, no, and just that anticipation until you get that close-up and then they start going back and you see Cloud's sword, you see his hand, you see Barrett and his, the gun that he has on his arm. And everybody loses their shit, and it comes on screen. It's like Final Fantasy VII remake, and everybody loses their freaking mind. Like, this got me, like, it's not even for me, but it just got me so excited of the possibilities of what this could be for a lot of people. Like, it's such a special game. Like, it it wasn't like a selfish thing, but it was just so well done, so well orchestrated, especially with the year before at PlayStation Experience. They showed the Final Fantasy VII like PC port, right?
Yeah.
And people were pissed because they were glad that this was coming to PlayStation 4, but it wasn't what they wanted. And the way they set it up, because if I'm not mistaken, it was first Last Guardian, then Final Fantasy, then Shenmue, right?
Yep.
And then to see like Kyle Bossman's reaction and Mike Huber, like the same video that after that they freaked out about Shenmue, but Kyle was like on his seat. He was like, no, and he was like, they were all flipping out. Like, it was so, and just seeing everybody's reactions to this online, everybody losing their shit and crying, and it probably might have been one of the best moments of the year. Just not only a trailer, but just in terms of emotion, like, and it just looked badass. And then we saw at PlayStation Experience, like, the game looks pretty damn close to what that trailer looked, and it's incredible. So I'm definitely on board for this remake. I played a little bit of the PC port. Unfortunately, there's so many games out that, like, I haven't had time to delve into it, but this has gotten me excited for the Final Fantasy series, and I'm not necessarily a fan. Like, I've always tried to get into it and it never clicked with me. So so yeah, what's yours if it's not this?
Everything you just said.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my pick as well. Oh man, like you said, that the original game is very special to me as well. I prefer Final Fantasy IX more so than 8. Same with 6 really, but 7 really brought me back into the genre, etc., etc. I've told that story before. But watching this trailer, man, it did make me cry. I was in tears by the end of this, especially when Remake came out on the screen. And it's funny because I was watching E3, I was talking with a friend of mine on Steam, a former coworker, and when, I think it was Adam Boyes that was announcing it, when the green popped up, I was like, oh god, trolling time by Square Enix coming up.
Yeah, we didn't even mention the what's the game? The Final Fantasy
for the Final Fantasy.
Exactly.
Beforehand.
We didn't even mention that, and that was the best lead up ever because everybody was like, "This is not happening."
Yeah. So everybody thought, oh, they're just going to talk about the PC port some more. It's like, okay, so it's time for like trolling time coming up. This is all we're going to get. And then the trailer starts like, huh? What? No, they're not doing this. And the moment that I remember the most is like seeing the playground scene. Was like, oh my god, that is when it struck for me. That's when the emotion hit. It was like, I can't believe they're finally doing this. And this trailer, I think, it was essentially the moment that I started to fall back in love with Square Enix again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for me, Final Fantasy VII Remake, the trailer, awesome. And like you said, this is probably the best moment of 2015.
It was so good. I want to watch the trailer again because it's so well done. Like, everything about the trailer is really well done. Like, it's just like a masterpiece in the way that they did that.
Yep, very much so. All right, let's move away from the feels a little bit to the best downloadable only game. What game that came out? No physical copies, just download by a PC or PS4 or Xbox One that we thought was the best downloadable only game of 2015. And my runner-up for this one... Is it me?
Yeah, because it is because I talked. Yeah.
All right, so my runner-up for this is Rocket League.
Nice. Same thing for me.
Awesome! We're on that same page again. So yeah, Rocket League for me, easily. It came out of nowhere. Wasn't really expecting much from it leading up to it. I did play the beta a little bit. I was like, oh man, this is actually pretty cool. And the game took off like a rocket.
Oh.
Yeah, great fun. It's always fun to dive back into it again, see the new stuff that they've been putting into it. Really great. Very much deserved to be one of the top games of the year. Best PlayStation Plus game of the year as well, I might add.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Pretty much everything you said. I didn't put as much time as you did into Rocket League, but what I did play, it was very fun, and I didn't expect to like it that much, to be honest.
Yeah. All right, so my number one pick for this. This is a little bit of a surprising one, I think. Well, no, if you know me, it's not surprising at all. It's Kung Fury Street Rage! I fucking loved this game so much. This was $1.99 when I bought it. This is a mobile port, but it works so well. The game was so good, so satisfying, so addicting to build up combos and everything. I spent hours. This is how I spent my vacation this year, was playing this game. I could have been playing The Witcher 3, which I was going to, but I played this instead, and competing against Aussie Legend for like a high score, which I finally got, mind you, over 600,000.
Nice.
But yeah, Kung Fury Street Rage, fucking love this game. Like I said, it's very cheap on the PlayStation Store. Buy it. I think it's free on mobile devices. Download it. It's cool. It's awesome.
Sweet. So, yeah, it's back to me now. Hold up.
Yep.
I lost my place a second. I already mentioned Rocket League. So, the best downloadable game, I'm going to cheat again, came out last year, but I played through it this year, and that is Shovel Knight. It came out of physical release this year. Okay, you got me there. I'll give it to Ori and the Blind Forest. I haven't played as much. I didn't beat it like I did Shovel Knight. But what I have played of Ori and the Blind Forest has been pretty fantastic. And this is coming from somebody who's not necessarily a big fan of the Metroidvania style of games. But this one is very well done. And that's pretty much all I could say, because I've only played about an hour and some change, maybe close to 2 hours. But the time that I've put into it has been pretty enjoyable. So I'll give that my best downloadable game, because pretty much everything else, like you said, did get a physical release. Even stuff like Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, got a physical release this year.
So weird.
I know.
All right. So moving on to the next category, the best DLC of 2015. DLC is usually a dirty word, but there's some good stuff amongst all the crap. So Izzy, what is your runner-up for best DLC?
Splatoon! Splatoon, Nintendo has supported this game so well. I'm shocked. And I guess technically it's not completely DLC because it's more of stuff that's been on the disc, but it's been unlocked over time, and you don't have to pay for it like how you would with like the Capcom characters who are on disc and you have to get it unlocked. Like they're piecing everything out, so it was very smartly done. So it would introduce you to some new weapons, some new some new game modes, some new levels, and it would piece it out so you don't get overwhelmed with everything that's included in the game. And they did it throughout the summer. I believe the last piece of DLC you would say was maybe a month or two ago, or even closer to now. I think they just released a piece of DLC maybe a few days ago, to be honest. So that month or two ago was completely wrong on my part. But they just keep supporting this game, and it's been handled very well. And I think it's really smart what they did because you don't feel like you're overwhelmed with all these options, and you feel like you're growing with the game, and it keeps you engaged. Even though I haven't been playing it myself, I know a lot of people who've been, very engaged with Splatoon, and it's been done very well.
Very nice. My runner-up pick goes to a bunch of DLC that was over a year in the waiting. And of course, I'm referring to the GTA 5 Heist, which finally came out at the beginning of this year. They were fun.
That's true. Yeah, I forgot about that.
They were fun. Maybe not up to what a lot of people thought they were going to be, but they were really good. From what I played a couple of them, I believe, with Big Boss. We did the 2-player one for sure. I remember that. But yeah, I thought it was great. I watched a lot of them being played. So yeah, runner-up, GTA 5 Heist.
All right. So my winner, and a lot of people forgot about this one, to be honest, because it came out rather early in the year. Mm-hmm. And that is the DLC for Mario Kart 8, the second pack, which they dropped in May. If I'm not mistaken. Actually, April, right? They did it a month early, I think.
Yep. Guess what? We agree on another one. This is my winner as well.
So Nintendo, they've been kicking ass when it comes to DLC. Like, Pack 2 had the Villager and Isabelle from Animal Crossing, then a bunch of new stages, a bunch of new vehicles. It had Dry Bowser also. It was just very well done, and the price is fantastic. If you want to buy just one, it's $7.99, but if you want to buy both packs, it's $11.99, and the amount of content you get for that, it's like double the game pretty much. And it's so well done. Like, it's fantastic. I have to give them, a shout out for that. And even have some free DLC, like they had the Mercedes-Benz vehicles, which they released free DLC. So Nintendo is doing a fantastic job when it comes to DLC, and they really get it. They really get how to keep people engaged with their game. To be honest, they could keep releasing Mario Kart DLC until the end of the Wii U's life cycle, and I'll buy everything up.
Agreed. Agreed.
I actually want to play it. I haven't played that game in so long.
I haven't either. I need to get back in. Big Boss hasn't now, so the three of us.
Oh, that's right. We definitely should. I finally got like a hard drive for my Wii U, so now I have all my games downloaded on it, and they all fit, because that 32 gig hard drive is
Yeah. All right, so like I said, my winner is Super Mario Kart DLC Pack 2 as well, for everything Izzy just said. Nintendo is killing it. Okay, moving on to the next category, and that is the best remaster. What game got ported out again that we actually did enjoy playing again? My runner-up for this, Final Fantasy VII on PlayStation 4. It is probably the best way to play Final Fantasy VII at this point. Yeah. Especially if you have played it before, because of those 3 extra options. Yeah, and the improvements. It looks clean. It looks nice.
It does look really clean, to be honest.
So yeah, that definitely gets my runner-up.
All right, so my runner-up, I, I think I'm cheating again, because this is more of a compilation than a remaster, but in a way they kind of remastered some of these classic games and added achievements to them and added some unlockables and things like that and different modes. And that is Rare Replay for the Xbox One.
Nice. I would not call that cheating at all.
Yeah, because they took a bunch of games from Rare's history. Unfortunately, of course, we're not going to get any of the Donkey Kong games because Nintendo owns that. We're not going to get GoldenEye because it's been an issue for like nearly 2 decades trying to figure out how to do a re-release for that game. But we do get some classics like Banjo-Kazooie, Conkers, Bad Fur Day, Killer Instinct Gold, and a bunch of Rare's, older titles from when they were Ultimate Play the Game before they were Rare. And it's just very well done, all in one package. The presentation is excellent. It's super charming. Just the intro for Rare Replay, and they do a little jingle, a little song with all the different characters, and then the way the games are laid out. And it's kind of a history lesson for a lot of people, too, because it gives you information on when the game was released. And then you can unlock additional stuff, like which they're kind of hard to unlock, to be honest, but you get like behind the scenes on the making of these games. But I didn't put an incredible amount of time. I played a little Banjo-Kazooie. I just started Perfect Dark, the original one, a few days ago. But yeah, I put some time into this, and it definitely deserves a mention as my runner-up for Best Remaster.
Cool, very nice. My number 1 pick is going to go to Borderlands, the Handsome Collection.
Nice.
I really enjoyed Borderlands 2 for the fact that I already had bought it twice before on PlayStation 3 and on PC. So buying it again for PlayStation 4, why the fuck not? It also came with a pre-sequel as well. Borderlands, great games. I had no issue re-buying them once again. So yeah, that's definitely my pick.
All right, this is obvious. Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection. Like, come on, guys. It's pretty obvious what I was going to pick. But Blue Point did a fantastic job with the remaster. They brought up Uncharted 1's visuals to near parity with Uncharted 2 and 3. The gameplay feels fantastic on the PS4. The control scheme has been a little more refined across all 3 titles. The shooting mechanics, now, since we have the DualShock 4, you use the triggers instead of R1 and L1 like you did on the 3. So there's kind of a learning curve there, but I actually like the using the triggers now. It looks fantastic. I think it's great that a lot of people get to experience this series if they didn't have a PlayStation. I just got my sister a PS4 for Christmas, and I specifically chose the Uncharted bundle, and she's already gone through the first game. She did put it on easy mode, but she went through it pretty quickly, and she's looking forward to hopping into 2 and 3, which I told her are even better than the original. So I'm excited to see what she thinks about it, and making another Uncharted fan. Indoctrinating all my family because I got them all PlayStation stuff. But that's my remaster of the year.
Very nice. It probably would have been mine too if I had picked it up and played it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we get into a fun category, which I'm sure we're going to have a great blast with, and probably both have the same number 1 here. But let's go into the runner-up first. So, Izzy, what is your runner-up for most disappointing game?
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. Jesus Christ, what happened to the series? Like, what happened? Like, the original Tony Hawk games, the original Pro Skater series was so well done. Like, everything about it, like, it just captured that essence of the skater culture of the late 90s, early 2000s, right? And then the gameplay mechanics were easy to pick up, hard to master, right? And
Yeah.
I remember 1 and 2, I played those. They were excellent. Then I got into the Underground series, which they had a little more of a story aspect to them. And then I kind of fell off from the series after that, to be honest. And then they just kept making more Tony Hawk games. And then they got to Tony Hawk Ride, and that was a colossal failure. Then they did the HD versions, which I actually enjoyed. And the same studio that did those did Pro Skater 5, but it clearly is a rush job. Like they had to do this before the Tony Hawk license ran out over at Activision. So and I've heard they've improved it. Like they released another patch which added another set of levels, and you get to use the Ninja Turtles now, which sounds awesome, but why that wasn't there in the first place is weird, and why the game is only like a few gigs, yet the patch for it is like 7 gigs. Like,
yeah.
I rented this, and it was just very disappointing. It was very lackluster, very, very, very mediocre, and it's a disappointment because this series, it deserves to be good. Like, they used to be fantastic games, and we don't really see a lot of extreme sports stuff nowadays. Like the Blitz series, that's gone. The NBA Jam series, that's gone. NBA Street, like, all that stuff is gone. We don't see, like, Matt Hoffman's BMX. Like, all these games that were big on PlayStation and PlayStation 2 have just disappeared. Mm-hmm. So it would be nice we'd at least have a skateboarding series, which just leaves it completely open for EA to bring another skate game out there, which I'm sure they're working on. But yeah, it's not my most disappointing game, because we'll get into that. But it was such a colossal failure. Like, mm-hmm. I was playing it and I was like, this is so mediocre. Like, mm-hmm. It just feels, and the way they did the buttons, like the same button to grind and to pound, like, oh, like, what were they thinking? It's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't get hyped up for that one in any way.
I rented it, so I was only out like, what, $2 from Redbox, which is not bad, but...
No. Alright, so, well, my runner-up is a game that started last year, but you didn't get episodes 2 to 6 till this year, and that is Telltale's Game of Thrones. Now, you see... There's a mixed bag with this one because it did have some really great moments into it. I really enjoyed a lot of the series, but it just petered out and died at the end for me. Like, episode 6 was so ungodly boring to get through because it went a route where, yeah, no matter what you do, this is going to end horrible, like, for you, no matter what. So... By the time I was playing through the last episode, and this is up on my YouTube channel, you can go and check it out, I act like a complete and utter jackass because I honestly could care less about the characters anymore or what was going on anymore.
They just kill off that family then? By the end of it?
Pretty much, yes.
Wow.
I was using one of the characters, and there was a section with them and their friend, and I basically tossed all of the blame onto the friend. They were like, what are you doing? It's like, she did it all. It was all her. I was good the entire time. Yep. She's the one in the fault here. So she gets booted out.
Wow.
Then later on, there's another opportunity where I have a chance to save somebody's life. But if I do so, I'm probably going to lose my life. And talking with a friend, he did do this the opposite way of me, and sure enough, he got killed. Where I just stood back and was like, watch somebody else die. I was like, yep, you're gone, buddy.
So it just happens regardless.
Well,
I guess. Well,
I had the characters survive. The friend did not get the characters to survive, but yeah, by the end, I couldn't care anything about the characters. It ended just basically setting up season 2, which annoyed me. It was like, it should have been more self-contained, in my opinion, and as where Tales from the Borderlands for me was like one of the best games of this year, one of the best Telltale games of this year. Game of Thrones, just, yeah, it's down in the gutter somewhere as one of Telltale's worst, in my opinion. I think I would rather go back and play Back to the Future again.
Jesus. That stinks. So yeah, let's move into the most disappointing game of the year, and I think it's going to be the same
Yeah, I think so.
on both, and that is Everybody's Gone to the Rapture.
Yep.
I was very excited about this game ever since I saw the first footage of it. I believe it was a Gamescom, I think, a few years ago, or was it even before that? I think it was at a Gamescom.
I think it was Gamescom of last year, so July.
Was it August? August, I think. Yeah,
August of 2014.
Yeah, it just didn't deliver. It was boring. The story was very, how would you say, pieced together, disjointed. You just walked, like you didn't do much else. Like you said, though, the soundtrack was good. The visuals were good. It had.
I just saw a Twitter post here. You can go buy Everybody's Gone to the Rapture for $11.99 on the PSN right now.
Wow. Really? Yeah, perfect timing for that one. But it was just very unfortunate. Like it was just bored. Like I got lost about halfway through, and I tried to backtrack to the beginning of the game where you start out, and I don't know where I was going, to be honest, because you had to follow that those lights, right? And I would follow them, and it would lead me to one thing, and then it would lead me to another thing, and then another thing, and I'm like, where did the lights go? Like, I don't know what's happening. I am lost. I am confused. I am frustrated. Screw this game. I'm not finishing it. That's pretty much what happened with me. I didn't end up finishing it.
Ouch. I did finish it, but same as you, I was so looking forward to this game, so much so, but yeah, it was disappointing. Other than, like I mentioned earlier, the soundtrack, and it looks beautiful. That's the
it does.
shame.
It's a good looking game.
It's one of the best looking games out there, especially on console, but yeah, just like the story was confusing. If, like in your case, if you got lost, that was it. You were done. And how slow it was. And they had the sprint button hidden.
Yeah,
and
that's
it wasn't
true.
even a real sprint button. It just put up your pace a little bit more. So, for all those reasons around, Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, yeah, unfortunately, does get the most disappointing game of this year. So, there you go. Sorry, Chinese Room. Sorry. Anyways, let's get a little bit more happy here, and that's the game that we bought but need or want to play more of. And my runner-up onto this one was Undertale. I only bought it recently on the Steam holiday sale, and I've played about, I think, 45 minutes of it, 45 to an hour. And it's good. It's quirky. It's fun. It is giving me those Earthbound type vibes from it. Though I do know in order to get the full effect of that game, you need to play it like 2-3 times in order to understand it really. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing more Undertale in the future.
Sweet. My runner-up is The Witcher 3. I didn't put nearly as much time into it as I would have liked, because Batman Arkham Knight came out a few weeks after The Witcher 3 was released, so I just ended up putting the game down completely, which is unfortunate, because like I talked about earlier, it's the only RPG that I played that I really enjoy this year. Yeah, it's a pain, because this year just seems to be the case. There were so many massive games. Like, I actually wish next year we move away from that, because it was like Metal Gear, Fallout, Mad Max, Dying Light. Like, everything had to be like an open world game. I was like, oh, yeah. That's why. Even if people, like, we've talked about this, even people didn't like The Order, I actually appreciated that it was a short experience that I could just play through in like maybe 1 or 2 sittings. So, yeah, that's my runner-up.
Alright, so my winner for game that I bought but need to play more of goes to Xenoblade Chronicles X. This was one of the 3 games I actually bought my Wii U for, so I do want to play more of it. I really do. The only thing that's been really holding me back is just trying to play some other games first, and it's a daunting task. I know that's ahead of me, and I don't necessarily have the time for like those kind of games anymore, so it's been hard to get into, but I really want to get back and play more of it just because I know it's great and I want to experience everything that that game has to offer.
All right, so my game that I bought and want to play more of is Metal Gear Solid 5. Not very surprising. The game is also massive. There's so much to do in that game, and I didn't put as much time as I wanted to be honest. I really wish I would put more time, but I just keep getting sidetracked. I need to like stick to games nowadays because I have like OCD, not OCD, ADHD when it comes to video games, because I'll play something for a few hours. I'm like, okay, let me play something else. Okay, let me play something else, and then I just never got anything done.
Yeah.
But yeah, Metal Gear will be that game for me.
Cool. Alright, so moving into our next category, the game that we didn't buy, but plan to at some point. So what's your runner-up for this one?
That is... Sorry, I was looking at something for a second. You caught me off guard. But yeah, my runner-up is Assassin's Creed Syndicate. It actually looks pretty decent, and I've heard some good things about it. I don't know if I will pick it up, to be completely honest, but it's one of the few games that I was thinking of that I didn't purchase this year that was kind of on the line for me. So yeah, I heard some good things about it, but it seems like the Assassin's Creed series has run its course in a way, so I wasn't necessarily too excited to pick it up.
Right on. Alright, my runner-up for this one is Hatoful Boyfriend, Holiday Star, which just came out recently. I quite enjoyed the first game. I really need to get back to it. My save file on PC ended up fucking up, so I never finished it there.
Stinks.
And I've been wanting to stream more of it on the PlayStation 4, so hopefully I'll get back, finish that up soon, and then eventually I will actually pick up Holiday Star as well. Because as far as I know, it's just more of the same pigeon dating awesomeness.
All right, so my winner for this category is Life is Strange.
Yeah!
Which I've heard a lot of people, there's been a lot of discussion about this game on both sides of the fence. Some people completely hate it, and some people completely love it. So I'm really interested to check out this game. I was actually just looking it up for that. The physical edition comes out next month. They have like a regular edition, then a collector's edition that brings like a soundtrack and stuff. I think I might pick that up.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know if I might just wait at this point because it comes out next month. So I'll probably check that out sometime within the next few months.
Awesome. My pick for winner on this is Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh!
So, yeah, I have wanted to play it, but, yeah, hashtag fuck Konami.
Yeah.
I'm not giving them my money. I'll buy it pre-owned, goddammit. But I will buy it at some point, just because it is Metal Gear. I love the first 3 games in the series. 4, yeah, I couldn't really get into that much, but I want to give this one a shot, so.
Good choice. Good choice.
Alright, so now we get down to our final 2 categories, which isn't necessarily winners, but just a bit of a discussion, I guess. And our first one is the 5 games that we thought were awesome in 2015. Not necessarily our top 5 games of 2015, though I'm sure there will be some crossover here. But just 5 games that we thought were awesome. And, yeah, I guess I will go first here. Yes. First on my list is Danganronpa, another episode, Ultra Despair Girls. I've talked about it here before. Game is awesome. It is my game of the year. Yeah, first one for my list.
Okay.
If you own a Vita, buy it. Buy the first 2 games first, though.
Still need to
If
play
you don't,
those.
yeah.
I have them like on my Vita. I just haven't played them. One of the first games that I want to give a shout out to. Spoilers: none of these games will be in my top 5 video, but there's still games I'd like to mention and reference. Transformers Devastation. I talked about that earlier. It's a very fun, short experience from Platinum Games. It is Bayonetta meets Transformers. So if that's up your alley, then you'll really enjoy this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's gorgeous, like I said. The combat is fun. It's a little repetitive and it's short, so that's why it's not making it into my top 5 list. It's more of a budget purchase, in my opinion. If you pick it up for $20, I say go right ahead.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Okay. The next one on my list is Disgaea 5. I mentioned up earlier in the best JRPG category, and like I said, it's awesome. I've been loving the game for as little of it that I did play. The combat feels nice again, smooth. The strategy combat is all there. And the characters are fun, vibrant, alive. A few of them even copy wrestlers, as I pointed out on Twitter a couple of times.
Brother!
Yep. Brotha, apparently. But yeah, I think Disgaea 5 is worth owning if you like strategy RPGs. You will not get a better series than Disgaea. And support the little guys. NIS, they do their damnedest to release everything over here. So support them. Buy a copy of Disgaea 5.
All right. Next one here on my list is Lego Jurassic World. It's super fun. You get to go through all the Jurassic Park movies. If you're a fan of the movie series and that franchise, definitely pick up Lego Jurassic World. It's my favorite Lego game as of right now. I did play a little bit of Lego Dimensions, but I ended up liking Jurassic World better just because I'm a huge fan and I loved all the little inside jokes and nods to the films. Definitely something I enjoyed playing this year in co-op with my brother, but unfortunately didn't make it into my top 5.
Cool, cool. The next one I'll talk about is Bloodborne. Another one that actually did make my list, and I was hooked onto this game for like a month after it came out. I think it was pretty much all I talked about onto the podcast for a while.
Yeah.
Combat was great, flowed smoothly. Just the atmosphere. I love that dark style, the gothic nature of the game. It was really cool. The story, though yes it can be confusing, was really well told. And there's just so much replayability in that game. And I need to get back to it again so I can play the DLC at some point.
All right. My third pick here on my list is Until Dawn. I haven't finished it yet, so I don't know where it's going to sit in my top games of the year. But what I did play, specifically with my little brother trading the controller back and forth and making different decisions, was actually very well done. It's better than anything Quantic Dream has made in terms of like a technical and story, cohesiveness. You actually understand what's going on for the most part. There are some twists and turns and some crazy stuff that happens, but it's very much in the line of a B horror movie. It doesn't take itself too serious. It does things to make you kind of feel creeped out, like we talked about earlier with that actor who, after every, I guess you would call it stage or mission, every certain amount of hours, he'll show up and start talking to you.
Peter Stormare.
Yeah, it's very well done. I gotta finish it though. Like I'm probably somewhere between half to 75%. I think I'm probably more likely like halfway through. But what I did play, I did enjoy, and I want to shout out. I just blanked on the name of the studio, Supermassive Games, for doing something original and unique.
Definitely, yeah. The next one on my list, if you're talking about different and unique, how about playing as a slice of bread? Because I'm talking about I Am Bread, which released this year on PlayStation 4 and on PC earlier in the year, from the same guys that did Surgeon Simulator.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a like out of left field type game, and yes, it's one of those that's kind of difficult to control, but that's what makes it fun. I had a blast playing this game. Like, getting toasted never felt so good. Basically, I just wanted to say that. That's all I wanted
You just wanted to drop that pun. It had to be dropped somewhere. So, let's get into the next one that I have here on my list. And that is a game that I have mixed feelings about, but I ultimately ended up enjoying, and that is Halo 5 Guardians. I thought it was a pretty solid Halo campaign. I would have done with less of I just forgot his name now. Jesus, what is the other guy's? But the team opposite of Master Chief's team, because you barely play as Master Chief in this game at all, which is because there's Blue Team, which is Master Chief's team, then there's Team Osiris, which is Agent Locke's team. So less of that, more of Master Chief. But it was interesting. And I still have very mixed feelings about it, but I wanted to give it a shout because I did end up enjoying it. I did like the gameplay. It felt super solid. It felt more high-paced than a typical Halo game. And I haven't tried out the multiplayer, which I've heard is the best in the Halo franchise. But definitely want to give a little shout-out to that game.
Very nice, very nice. And the last one on my list is one that you just spoke about earlier, and that's Until Dawn. Completely surprised me. I was interested in the game coming up, but I didn't know if I wanted to buy it because I don't like horror movies, and I'm very picky and choosy when it comes to horror games as well. Like, I tried playing Outlast. No, that wasn't happening. But Until Dawn, just like, it grabbed me, it hooked me. I loved the slow build to the horror and how it went from one type of horror to another. Excellent. Well done. So good. By far one of my favorite games of this year. Is that it?
Yeah, one last one for me, I believe. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the last one, I definitely have to give it a shout out, even if it isn't a new release for this year. And I haven't mentioned this one yet. I already mentioned Shovel Knight and Uncharted and Rare Replay. But that is Journey, came to PS4, and it looks stunning. It's 1080p, 60 frames per second. I replayed it again this year, and it's still as emotionally impactful as it was when I played it a few years ago. If you have a PlayStation 4 and have not played Journey, please try this game out. Give it a shot. It only takes you about an hour and a half, 2 hours to complete. You can finish it in one sitting. It's still one of the greatest games ever made, in my opinion. It's still very special for me, so I definitely wanted to give a shout out to Journey hitting the PlayStation 4.
Very good. All right, so now we can move into our final little category here, and that's the 5 games we are looking forward to in 2016. So, I'm going to kick it over to you first this time. What's the first game in these 5 games you're looking forward to?
So, like for the other list, I'm not going to give the top 5, which I'm already doing a video on, but I'll give you some other ones that I'm looking forward to. The first one is Horizon Zero Dawn from Guerrilla, who've been stuck on Killzone for the last decade, and I really want to see what they do with this new bright color palette and this open world and this new character who looks like a badass, and these creatures that are dinosaurs, but Guerrilla's saying they're not dinosaurs. I don't know what's going on, but like robotic dinosaurs, but it just looks fantastic. Unfortunately, we haven't seen much of it, and every time they show it, they show the same slice of gameplay of the character going up against a giant-looking T-Rex thing. So yeah, we don't know much about it. Like it takes place in the future, after some sort of cataclysmic event happens, some sort of apocalyptic event. And it's cool that we don't know much about it. I'm hoping it hits sometime in 2016. I kind of have a feeling it might get pushed, to be honest. Hopefully it doesn't, because to be honest, we haven't seen much, and it's kind of the same thing that we've seen several times now. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Guerrilla could do outside of the Killzone universe.
Cool. The first one on my list, I'm cheating a little bit, and it's going to be 2 games actually, and that's Dragon Quest 7 and 8 on the 3DS. This was an awesome announcement that we got back in that Nintendo Direct in November, and just the fact that we're getting these finally over here, like, it has been so, I don't know, Square Enix has not been thinking, like, at all when it comes to porting over the Dragon Quest games over here to North America or Europe. So this is a massively exciting announcement. I'm looking forward to playing through 7 for the very first time and replaying through 8 again, which is one of my favorite games of all time, one of my favorite PS2 games of all time. So yeah, I'm so excited to play through those games on the 3DS, and if they do a new 3DS special edition, I may have to buy it. Just saying.
Yeah, it's happening. You know it's going to happen. And it's probably going to be GameStop exclusive.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so the next game here on my list is Mirror's Edge Catalyst. I'm a big fan of the original Mirror's Edge. I thought it was super refreshing in 2009 when EA brought the Dead Space series and Mirror's Edge series to life. Dead Space was more successful for them. They made 2 sequels for it and a spin-off on the Wii. Mirror's Edge only got that 1 game, and now this seems to be a prequel / reboot.
Yeah.
I'm still not 100% clear on what the hell that means. It looks stunning. I really like the color palette of the original Mirror's Edge, but it's EA, so it didn't make it into my top 5 because it's EA, and they might mess it up somehow. But I've always liked Faith as a character. I think she's like a strong female character that's not like overly sexualized. I think that's very cool. And I'm looking forward to checking it out. I'm just hoping that it delivers and more people check it out this time around, because last time it was like a cult hit, the original Mirror's Edge.
Definitely, yeah. And that's why it's on my list as well, because
Nice.
I'm also looking forward to this one. I love the original. I got some of the very first trophies in the Mirror's Edge series, so
Nice.
yeah, so that as a trophy hunting horror holds a special place in my heart. So I'm looking forward to playing Catalyst. Maybe not exactly when it comes out, but
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm waiting on reviews, to be honest.
Yeah,
and I'm not pre-ordering it.
What? You're not going to get that $300 collector's edition?
No thanks. I'll pass on it. I'm kind of done with collector's edition, to be honest. And I'm for example, like that Halo one that was $250. Amazon has it right now for $99. It's nuts.
Geez.
It's nuts. Like, I would have been pissed if I would have picked it up. And I saw it at Best Buy today. They had it for $139, but I was like, this is massive. I don't have any space for it. Plus, the room decorations are mainly PlayStation across the board, so that'd be kind of out of place.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move into my third most anticipated game, or one of my most anticipated games, and that is Star Fox Zero. It's by Platinum Games. They do very solid games. Sometimes they hit you with something that's incredible, like Bayonetta, and sometimes they hit you with something that's mediocre, like what's the character's name? I'm going blank now. You know what I'm talking about. The game that they released last year for the anime / cartoon series, Legend of Korra. So I'm hoping it's more like Bayonetta. To be honest, we haven't had a true Star Fox game in a while, in a very, very long time. Probably Star Fox Assault on GameCube that was done by Nintendo in collaboration, I believe, with was it Namco Bandai, or I can't remember. I know it was in collaboration with another studio, but yeah, that's the third one for me.
Nice.
I'm hoping it's good. Like, please, like, it looks kind of rough, but come on, it's good.
Yeah.
Please.
The next one here on my list is Firewatch.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Another little smaller indie developed downloadable only game coming out in February, where you're taking the role of a park ranger during I think a fire that happened in the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. The game looks beautiful, but it looks normal for a lot of it, but then you got this like mystery that's going on as well, so it adds a little bit of a creepy tone to it. So yeah, Firewatch is like a day one purchase for me. Hopefully it does not turn out to be the everybody's gone through the rapture of 2016 for me, but yeah, I'm really excited for Firewatch.
All right, the fourth game that I want to talk about is a game that kind of fell off the radar, and right now I don't think it's going to hit in 2016, to be honest. I'm gonna skip this one. Let me pick another game, because there's no way in hell this is dropping in 2016, because Ninja Theory decided to restart the game or whatever the hell's going on. Let's give it to something that I know you're excited for, and I just want it to come to light already. That is The Last Guardian. Like,
yeah,
is it gonna hit 2016? Is it gonna get delayed again? Is it all a myth? Was it all some sort of illusion that happened at E3 that's never happening? But yeah, I've played a little bit of Shadow of the Colossus. I appreciate the game. I couldn't get into it as much as other people could. There's issues with the controls for me, but I appreciate what it stands for in terms of being one of those pillars of PlayStation iconic games for a lot of people. The Last Guardian, I hope, improves on that formula. They make it a little more streamlined in terms of the controls, not as clunky. And I'm interested to see what we actually do in the game. All we've seen so far, that you follow that dog bird looking thing so far, there isn't much going on. And I wonder if there's boss battles or how the companion system works between the two characters. We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's on my list here as well. So yeah, really looking forward to The Last Guardian. It will come out in 2016.
Hopefully.
It will come out, I'm going to say August of 2015. It will be a summer game. They'll release it probably around the same time as Until Dawn came out this year. So there you go, folks. That is my prediction for The Last Guardian. It will come out August. And if I had a calendar near me, I would tell you an exact date. But actually, I can pull up a calendar right now. So yeah, The Last Guardian, it will be
August
awesome.
26th. I don't know.
Let's see, August. It will release on a Tuesday. It will be August 23rd, 2016.
I'm going to go with the 26th. I'm going to go with a Friday.
Okay, then.
Okay. Yeah, my last and final game. It's a VR game. I love dinosaurs.
I was going to say, it's that summer school lesson, right? Where you're with the creepy girl in their room. And
no. It's a VR game. I love dinosaurs. I really hope this delivers. It's being done by Crytek, which they are known for their graphical fidelity of their games. That is Robinson the Journey, which we haven't seen much about so far, but what we have seen, there's freaking dinosaurs. You're in some alternate dimension. I don't know what's going on. Is it secretly a reboot of Turok? Like, you know? Imagine that. But yeah, it's just, we need more dinosaur games. We don't have enough of them out there. We need more. This has got me on board for PlayStation VR. I hope it's a launch title for PlayStation VR, to be honest. Just VR in general, I'm excited for. I want to see the PlayStation VR finally get a damn release date and a price, so I can start saving up for it and know how much of my money I could put to the side for, besides like spending money on these other games. Which a lot of the money is going to go to PSVR, to be honest, this year for me if it hits, or when it hits, better yet. But yeah, we haven't seen much, but it looks incredible in terms of the graphics, and I'm super excited for it.
Cool. Yeah, but the final one I will talk about here. Come on. I think people know me well enough now to know what I'm going to say, and
it's the fifth game in a franchise.
Yeah.
It's number 5 on your list.
I refer to, of course, Persona 5. It's been 8 years since the last Persona game. Yes, Persona 4 Golden scratched that itch when it got a release on Vita there a couple years, 3 years
it's
ago.
Been a while. It came out 2012 on Vita.
4 years ago. Even still, we have not gotten a Persona game in so goddamn long, and yeah, I'm ready for this now. If I only had money to buy one game in 2016, it would be Persona 5.
Nice.
So yeah, I am off the wall excited for this game.
I'm looking forward to it too. It's not on my list, but it's definitely one that I'm intrigued, and I wanna see what they do with the new graphics engine that they have, because I just like games that look different. Like I love the stuff that looks like it's real, but I love the stuff that has a distinct art style too, as you'll see in the video that I'm making. Because I think, well, there's 2 games that look, realistic, and then the other 3, look at my list real quick, and the other 3 have like a very distinct art style. Yep, that is true. 2 realistic games, 3 with distinct art styles. So yeah, I'm interested to see when do you think this is hitting? Summer?
I think so, yes.
Summer?
No,
I think it'd be
July.
perfect. Do you think they pushed it back to have like a worldwide release?
Possibly, yeah.
Because that would make sense, because I don't want this to hit and then they're like, oh, it's coming in 2017 on the U.S. show. I'd rather just hold it back and release it all at once. Right? Yeah. Like at summer. Summer would be perfect, because there's usually nothing in the summer. Right now, there's like No Man's Sky, which is one of the big games for June, which they're saying that's when they're going to launch it. Do you think they're going to... Now I'm just getting a tangent, but I think like No Man's Sky, they're going to be like at E3, they're like, it's out now. They could do that, I guess, because is it going to be a digital release, or is it getting a physical? Like, we don't really know much. Is it VR? Like...
Yeah, very true.
Whatever's going on, but yeah, I'm looking to see what they do at Persona 5. Like,
Yep. So yeah, that wraps it up, I believe.
Yeah, it wasn't as long as I thought it would be. That's what she said.
And there you have it, folks. The first annual Glitchy Awards. Yeah.
Can you dig that, sucker?
All right, so yeah, we had no news this week either, folks. It's the holidays. Nothing's happening, all right? But we do have a question this week. Our friend Brack from Outlaw Gamer Society, at Breaking Brack, asked us if we had to choose one fighting game character to fight in real life, which one would it be?
Wait, was it to fight or to be as?
No, if you had to choose one fighting game character to fight in real life, which one would it be?
That's easy for me. I'd pick Cammy. I let her put that crotch on my face.
Damn it, Izzy, you stole my joke. I was going that way.
Yes. Yes.
Not necessarily Cammy. I was going to say Kasumi from Dead or Alive, because at least I would die happy.
Okay. So we're all on the same page, just different characters.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
We're horrible people.
Hey, Cammy. Cammy's awesome. Anyway.
Have it the new character, Mika Rin, so you can see her butt slap
Jesus.
being censored.
Be uncensored in my version. Shit. But I didn't even bring up Street Fighter. To be honest, I'm not that excited about 5. I don't know. Maybe I will be once we get into February and I'm like in a drought period where, because like we talked about January, there isn't anything big. February for me isn't anything big besides Street Fighter. And
for you, there isn't.
Some of us like on the other Pan-Mania over here, like NIS and Idea Factory, they're just getting all your money. But yeah, I guess that wraps it up for this show.
Yeah, that pretty much does. And before we do the outro, I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in for the 24 episodes that we have posted this year. For those of you that stuck with us from the Canuck podcast, I thank you very much as well. It was a good endeavor to split the podcast up. Static Screen's been going great as well when we've managed to record. Hopefully me and James, or me and Izzy, will be able to do up an episode of that as well in the near future for you. Probably the next one will probably be January, just because holidays and all that jazz.
Yeah.
But anyways, from the bottom of my heart, I do thank you so very much. And as one final note from me, I will just say, PlayAsia has dropped the price in Dead or Alive Extreme 3, so go pre-order it today. Izzy, why don't you take us away?
You had to hit him with the cheap plug. All right, so if you guys are still sticking around, thank you guys, as Lord X said, for listening, watching, whatever you may do with the podcast over these 24 episodes. 2016 is going to probably be an even bigger year for us, hopefully, expanding the podcast even more to a bigger audience. And yeah, let us know in the comment section down below any of your favorites in the categories we mentioned, some of your favorite games in these different genres, some of your least favorite games, what games you're looking forward to, all of that in the comment section down below. For Lord X, I am Izzy, aka Israel Pacheco 89, and we are glitching out for 2015.
Hit the lever!
You gotta hit the lever.